I'm ranaal-falaki.
I'm Patel.
And welcome to
the Nail It Podcast.
This is your place to lead better, live fully, and laugh more. It's your blueprint to optimal performance. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Nail It Podcast.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Lead better, live fully,
Laugh more.
more.
Am I supposed to woo as well?
Yes, you woo as well.
Yay. Come on, Bab.
We started recording. Our wonderful guest and I were like, woohoo, let's do this. And Bavin was just like, yeah, okay. So come on, Bav. Where's
it's late sunset.
You're about to kind of go into your bed. It's so late at night. Is that the issue?
No. I'm doing it in my bedroom. So now I'm literally.
I don't think you want to say that, Bav.
No.
Don't want to know.
I'm sitting on a beanbag.
This is
Oh, you gotta scrape the bar, don't you?
Oh well, let's just introduce our guest, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
We are honoured and thrilled to be joined by the woohoo! James Goolnik, who, a name no doubt well known in dentistry, having been one of dentistry's top 50 this year, but he didn't want to be introduced as that. He's just a dentist, and just being that actually dentists are amazing, aren't they, Bav?
Oh, mate, I'm surrounded by dentists as well. Love dentists.
Just about it, exactly. So he's been a dentist for over 30 years and has recently set up a clinic called Optimal Dental Health. And I love it because it goes with our whole optimal performance thing of Nail It, Bav, right?
I've been looking forward to talking to James, actually. I've heard so much about him. He's a bit of a living legend, isn't he? He's very humble because he just wanted to be introduced as James the dentist. But he's got a lot of accolades, which I'm sure we'll get onto.
He has, but he appreciates that the accolades don't make him who he is, right? Or the impact he's able to create. So on that, James, firstly, welcome.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. And I'm glad we got a date together and I'm glad Bab's still awake. So
You could. I'm not going to live that, am I?
Yes, I love it. Be prepared, Bav. You're in for a treat. Okay, so tell us, what is your favourite quote?
So my quote is love, be loved, and never stop learning. And I've had that quote for a long time, and I couldn't remember where I read it from. And then I realized, I sort of thought, where did I get that from? And Timothy Ferriss. Is there anyone remember Tim Ferriss? He wrote the book 4 Hour Work Week and the 4 Hour Chef. And it was from the 4 Hour Work Week. And I just loved it because for me and in dentistry and everything, I'm always learning. I'm never stopping. There's always another course. There's always another seminar or webinar. There's always another book to read. And every single one I pick up these little nuggets from. And actually for me, I pick up the most from non-dental colleagues, non-dental conferences, because one, they're not used to speaking to dental care professionals. So it's all new for them. They're loving sharing stuff and they talk about their customer journey or their client journey. They talk about the frustrations of running a business. They talk about the sort of client stories that have worked really well for them. And I think, I can use that in dentistry. That's something interesting. And that's what I really love about always learning, always doing that and doing that with my kids as well. And obviously loving and being loved as well is really important. Otherwise, what we're here for. So, and I love dentistry. And actually, I couldn't stop working. And we were talking. I sold my business 4 years ago now, and some of my friends were going, "Are you going to retire? You're going to stop? Yeah, you should." And I'm like, "What? I love it. Why would I stop doing this? What am I going to do?" I have great conversations with my patients every day, and I love sort of learning about their new cars or what their family's doing, or their A-level results and GCSE results, and just their health journeys. And that's sort of what got me started on sort of the health journey, is actually asking a bit more about it and hearing their frustrations with their GPs and the fact that they've sort of had ailments that no one's really got to the bottom of it and no one's really looked at root causes, and thought, actually, I need to learn more about this. I need to know, I need to understand this a bit more, because as dentists, we don't really get taught much about nutrition. It was like, don't eat sugar and you rot your teeth, and just have fluoride toothpaste because that fixes everything. And that's the end of it, really. That's our guidance. And we won't talk about sleep, we won't talk about exercise, energy, any hydration, nothing of that. It's just like, these are the teeth, fix them. And that's it. And it's like, there's way more to that. And it's been sort of eye-opening learning more about that. And I'm in the middle of doing a nutrition diploma at the moment about functional nutrition, ion optimal introduce optimal nutrition.
Yeah.
So another optimal, and I'm the first dentist they've ever had on it. And I was like, why isn't a dentist learning about nutrition? Because that's something we need to know about. It's like day in, day out.
Remember what your nutrition teaching was in dental school, albeit over 30 years ago.
It is
It wasn't
just, and it's sugar.
Yeah.
Well, as a periodontist, right? And then even my specialist training, it was just, oh, just have a healthy, balanced diet, and that should be it.
Yeah. It was a massive focus just on sugar, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's all about sugar
And
and brush your teeth. As long as you brush your teeth, it's fine.
it was about sugar and caries, and now
Is it?
it's about sugar and inflammation.
Yeah,
And obviously, as a periodontist, I mean, people don't understand why when they come into the practice, we want to weigh them. We want their BMI, which is not necessarily the ideal way to measure those things.
yeah,
I talk to them. When I teach on my courses, people say, you can't say that to a patient that, actually you look like you could use with losing a bit of weight. But I say it in a kind of jokey way, and the patient takes it on board. And listening, like you could have someone who comes in and looks like they're not overweight in the sides, they look really healthy, but when you listen to the history, you suddenly realize, oh, actually they just lost 3 stone the year before.
yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, that's why your periodontitis was so bad. So tell us a bit more about, I mean, I love the fact that you have this approach. We speak the same.
Yeah.
I certainly will spend an hour doing a periodontal consultation, and 45 minutes of it is listening and talking to the patient, most of it listening. So it's a tiny bit is done with hands. So
Yeah, it's all about building the rapport.
Yeah.
And we get loads of young dentists who spend time with us and do shadowing with us at the old clinic and the new clinic now, and they all get worried about being sued all the time. And I've been doing this over 30 years. I've never touched wood, never been sued, never had a GDC hearing or any sort of case at all. And I'm thinking, why is that? Am I a better dentist than I'm definitely not a better dentist than thousands of other dentists. But what I do is listen and I say sorry when something goes wrong because things always go wrong.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. That wasn't how I was expecting the outcome to be. But however, this is what I'm going to do to fix it. And if it's beyond my clinical skill and I know what my clinical skill levels are, it's like, you know what? There's somebody who'll do it better than me. And I'm going to refer you or I'm going to take care of it and I'll sort it out. The money thing is in the background. We don't even talk about the money. It's like, I'm really sorry. This hasn't gone how I expected it to do. Let's see what we can do to fix it. And
No, it's so important, isn't it? Communication.
and people don't do that. They hide it or they say, well, you have to fill in. I remember when we get, what's your consent process? And they fill in all these forms and sign this. And that. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they've signed.
No.
One, they didn't understand it probably most of the time. And two, if you haven't got that trust at the beginning and you haven't spent the time to build that rapport, then what's the point? It means nothing. And I think that's the thing I'd like dental care professionals to really focus on. I mean, our first consultation similar to you is an hour, and we just spend the time listening. But also, the medical history is really important of how you structure it, what's important, what you ask. And simple things now I've been asking is like, what's your diet like? And just shutting up and seeing what they say. And some of them go, oh, it's really good. I don't eat sugar. And then some of them go, well, actually, I'm a vegetarian, vegan. I don't have this. And then they start this whole conversation. And then they start saying, and then you ask them, do you take any supplements? I don't talk about medication so much now. So, oh, I take vitamin D. I take this. And when they start looking at that, you think, okay, well, this person's really interested in having this conversation. Or
those pauses are so important, aren't they? To allow them to, because they've practiced this story before they come in, right? And I think men are really bad at it. Who's just shut up and listen. We always we let them talk for 3 seconds on average, and then we were asking another question, whereas they could have led on to something that's quite important. And you say an hour for a new patient consult.
Yeah, and then things like asking about sleep is like people. I just say, do you feel refreshed in the morning? Just see what they say. And some of them burst into tears. I get people who burst into tears and say, I've really struggled with my sleep. This has happened, and you're just listening, and they go, well, wow, no one's ever really asked me that. And then you start saying, well, what's the dentist got to do with sleep? Well, actually, if you're not energized in the morning, there's something going on. Your healing is not working, your repairing is not working. You might be clenching, you might be grinding, you might have sleep apnea. There's a whole load of different breathing issues that we're going to talk about later on. And then everything else I'm not going to work because if you're not sleeping well, you eat rubbish, you snack badly, then you're going to have more likely to have caries, more likely to perio disease, and then all the other chronic
Yeah.
inflammation as well. So just it all starts with the sleep. And actually, then why are they not sleeping? Are they stressed? Are they
Mm.
going on their phones too late at night? Is there something going on at home? There's all these different things. Are they living in a house full of mold? There's all these different things you can look at. And actually, my dentistry is going to fail if I
Mm.
haven't looked at that first, or say, actually, like I get people who come in who want all these different cosmetic works, and I'm like, this is not going to work. I
Yeah.
don't want to do something for somebody that's not going to work. So let's look at the basics. And I feel so much more sort of job satisfaction when I get somebody coming back and go, I had a great night's
Yeah.
sleep there. That tip really helped me. Or I've
Mm.
changed my pillow and now I'm sleeping much better. Or I've had a conversation with my partner about snoring because I've been too embarrassed to say anything. But now you've told me this, and I'm talking about the dental aspects of it and how things can change. And they go, wow. And it makes such an impact. And
Yeah.
anyone in the whole team can have this conversation. It's
Yeah.
not, we always talk about the dentist being the top person,
Mm.
and it's not. And my team members sit there and chat, and we have things called rescue remedies. So I'm a big believer in homeopathy and natural alternatives. And we have rescue remedy as a spray in the reception area. And my team are trained to look out for anxiety and anxious patients. And so when they're sitting in the waiting room, they're having a conversation. They say, "Oh, would you like a little spray of this?" And they go, "What's that?" And then they start this conversation, and it just helps calm them and make them feel sort of listened to, because that's what's not happening in dentistry at the moment, in my opinion.
Mm. What's in the spray?
So it's actually rescue recipe is actually it's flower. It's Basque flower remedies. So I don't know if you heard of Basque.
Mm.
So it's a herbal remedy. It's called, I'm trying to remember what it's called now. I think it's just called Basque flower.
You
Yeah.
just spray it on their face or in the mouth?
No, it's just sublingual. So
Sublingual.
it's one on the tongue. They have a spray, and also
Mm.
they have a lozenge, but the lozenge has
Mm.
sugar in it, so we don't have
Yeah.
that.
No. Sugar free.
Sugar free.
Because sometimes I have a lavender spray. You know, it's the do
Yes.
on pillows, right? For when you go to sleep, you're supposed to do the
Yeah,
lavender.
that
Similar,
works
it's a
really well.
similar concept, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, and we have aromatherapy stones and or smells all the way around the practice. So it smells not like a dental practice, but it's to try and cover up some of the sort of disinfectants that we have to use. We're just
Mm.
trying to make it as calming as possible. We have TVs on the ceiling,
Yeah.
just trying to make it and talk to them about their experience and what they're looking for. We use lip balms, but actually we use propolis lip balm now. So some of our patients don't like petroleum jelly. So we use propolis, which is again from bees, and it's anti-inflammatory. So we little touches like that. They go, "Oh, why
Mm.
are you using that? Oh, that's something I do." And then the patients sort of say, "Oh, I don't like fluoride because of this." And you start having these different conversations. And I think that's the interesting bit when you start talking to people a bit more holistically. They
Mm.
open up, and you bring a whole new sort of clientele who are coming in who are going, "Well, I just don't feel listened to.
Yeah.
I've had this problem for ages and I don't trust anyone else. And I believe you're going to help me. And I'm not doing any dentistry any different than other people or any better than other people, but I'm spending the time to listen and my team
Yeah.
is spending the time to listen and they're enjoying a deeper relationship and a deeper connection. And then also better, I would say, they're more loyal, the patients, because once
Yeah.
they come and have that conversation, they go, "Well, I'm not going to go to my other dentist who just says open up and we just have a look and
Yeah.
that's the end of it," or tells me off from not flossing because I won't
Yeah.
tell anyone off. It's like, we're not going to tell you off.
Yeah.
We're here to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. And but actually, I wouldn't. I would tell them not to floss though. It's only like use incidental cleaning aids, but not
Yes,
floss. That's what.
not floss.
Yeah, because
I don't care what you use, as long as you're disrupting the microbiome
yeah,
regularly.
you're not going to do it as effectively
Yes.
with.
I'm going to lean to your expertise on the periodontal cleaning regime, but
People used to say, like, when I'd have a new nurse coming to work for me, she'd be thinking, "Oh my goodness, where the hell have I come to? Like, this is like a counseling chair." Because
yeah,
they would be in floods of tears, right? And then even you're talking about men, Bav. We always ask the question, okay, so tell me about your stress. You know, I say, how's the stress been in the last couple of years? Any kind of what we call like major negative life events? No, 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 no. And men notoriously will say, I don't do stress. Yeah. mean, there's some amazing research. I've written about it in the Nail It book done by Stanford University on stress and how it's actually a mindset trick. And it's not actually the stress that causes the issue, it's the mindset and how you actually view stress. So actually, if you actually try to deter it away completely, it's actually worse for you biologically than, okay, yeah, you know what, bring it on and I can get through this. It does some amazing things to your body. And actually, part of my research when I did my MClin Dent, so now 25 years ago, it was very current at the time because it was all on stress. So
Still current.
well, it was at the time. Well, now we've started to have a bit more intervention. But what we started to do was I did clinical trial measuring, again, obviously outcomes of treatment depending on people's stress. And then obviously we measured their cortisol level as well. But we were measuring stress through daily hassles. So you can measure stress in so many different ways. So, you know, kind of how busy and harassed someone is. And actually their cortisol level did not tally, which makes sense. So that acute stress is not the issue. The cortisol obviously comes with chronic.
Yeah.
But of course, patients' response to treatment was much poorer under stress. And it has two mechanisms. One is the impact it has on the immune system. And it's amazing how many patients still to this day are not familiar with that message. It's like, what has that got to do with my oral health? What has that got to do with my teeth, my gums? Oh my God, could I really give myself cancer or heart disease or diabetes or arthritis from being stressed? They don't believe it. And then obviously
they're getting more interested. I've noticed since the work with Zoe and Tim Spector and all that with the gut microbiome, people are realizing that actually the entry to the gut is here in the mouth. And if we don't deal with that, whatever happens, it's going to go on to the gut. So I think they've realized.
But what you're attracting in your clinic, though, is you're getting confirmation bias because optimal dental means, you know, people are coming to you because they're starting to know that you have that approach. So you're going to come across people who are into that, who have come across.
I am also getting people
wear
from
aura rings or whatever, as opposed to the general. Some of the general public still say, "Oh my goodness, does stress really have that impact?" And just to add, the other mechanism, of course, is behavioral. Like you said, they smoke, they don't eat as well, they don't sleep as well, they grind more, they don't do exercise, they don't engage in health positive behaviors, and the two together just cause chaos.
Yeah. But interestingly, I've had a lot of patients come from my old clinic who have just followed me from being with me for 20 odd years. And they knew from the cookbook and everything else, they knew I was into nutrition and health, but they come for the dental care. But when they come and see slightly different things, they ask questions and they go, "Oh, why are you taking a swab here? Or why are you doing this? Or why are you asking me about this?" And that's, even though I've known them for years, the medical questions are slightly different and the approach is slightly different. And they go, "Oh, do you still do dentistry?" I was like, "Yes." But the best dentistry is no dentistry. So that's
of
what we're
course.
going to work to
Prevention's
together.
better than cure. Prevention's better than cure. Yeah.
So people don't understand that. And also another question that's quite good is just like, what toothpaste you use? Because you can find so much about somebody by asking that.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
if they're just like, whatever my wife buys is one of the answers, or whatever's cheaper on the supermarket. And then other people go, I go to Holland Barrett, I buy this and this and this, I buy this. And one of them today actually said, I buy mine all from Heath online because they have a nano hydroxyapatite toothpaste that I really love that's in this flavor and this flavor, and it costs £30 a tube, but it's really worth it. It's like, okay.
So do you advocate no fluoride in your clinic?
So yes, we are completely fluoride free in the practice, and that is because for me, it's all down to diet and nutrition. So if I've got the diet and nutrition right, and I'm having sugar and chocolate and cakes occasionally, but I know I'm having them, I'm not going to get any tooth decay. So actually, for me, for my patients, they can just brush with water. So if we've got them, so they're actually everything's on point, they can just brush with water. The only reason they're using toothpaste is removing stains, so abrasive. So if they're smoking or they're drinking a lot of tea and coffee and things like that, they can use the toothpaste as an abrasive. And then for some of them, for freshening breath, if they've had a sort of a meal or a drink or something that's got a flavor or taste, they want to get rid of that, then great. You don't need anything else. So actually, water is the best one. Now, obviously, some patients suffer from sensitivity. Some patients actually do have more sugary things or have a propensity to have tooth decay, no matter how good their diet is. maybe it's their microbiome, or maybe it's vitamin D deficiency, or maybe there's reflux, or there's other issues going on. So then I want them to use something. And I won't say don't use fluoride, but there's loads of evidence fluoride works, but as a topical effect, and there's no reason for us to be swallowing and ingesting it. But there's more and more evidence now that hydroxyapatite works as effectively. It's more natural. The price is coming down now. So we use hydroxyapatite toothpaste and varnishes in the practice on a targeted basis.
Okay, that's fantastic. I want to come back to communication, James.
Yeah.
Because we've talked, right? And obviously, like, as coaches, that's exactly what we do. And I've written articles about this, about actually you need to use coaching skills as a dentist as well,
Yeah.
because it's about asking open-ended questions and not wanting to fill the pause. So actually just listening and watching and active listening, making a patient feel heard, reflecting back to them what it is you're hearing, and going deeper. So then they feel that connection to you. So you we think we're similar ages, so you will recall when dentistry changed from 4 years and a term to 5 years.
Yes. Yes.
And supposedly it was so that they taught us more about communication, sociology, psychology, and I think it was biometrics or biometry at the time. So, I mean, I balk at how communication is still taught with this just role play and that's it. And definitely through NAILET and the courses we teach, I mean, we go really, really deep in all different types of advanced communication and understanding, what you're saying, but also understanding the person you're speaking to, because that's really the bottom line. It is a person, it's not a set of teeth, right?
Yeah.
If you were going to offer advice
Ooh.
to the deans,
Okay.
to, let's say, like, to the academies who have to teach dentistry to undergraduates,
Yeah.
what would you be saying?
That's a difficult question there. Advice to,
Tick box, that means I'm a good coach.
yes, that is a really difficult question.
It's got you thinking this late at night, keeping me up as
But
well.
I would say I 100% agree with you with the communication skills. I think they should spend some time in a general practice and sit there and see what happens in a general practice, because it's very different than in a hospital-based thing. And some of them have probably never been in practice, or they haven't been in for years and
Yeah.
years. And if they actually sit and see what the different stresses and how an average dentist or hygienist or nurse or therapist has their day, they would understand things very differently.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
think there's an element of NHS and private care in
yeah,
that as well, right?
Do
And the
you
There's-
have
mentality.
to do that? I mean, when I was in dental school, we did have to do that. We had to go and sit. We had like an allocated practice close to wherever we
yeah, but
lived.
I'm talking about the deans. You were saying for the deans.
Ah,
I think the
not the
deans.
students. I get you.
I think the deans need to get back into reality and see what is happening out in practice. And I
Yeah.
think that would make a huge difference to see what the stresses and strains that are having and the environment, because it's very
Yeah.
different.
On the front line, so to
Yes.
say. Yeah.
I think that is very different. And also, I really do believe we don't do anywhere near as enough prevention. It's all about we're getting paid for doing treatment. We're getting paid for doing this, we're doing that. And it's all about treat, 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 treat. And people think it's normal to come in. They think it's normal brushing their teeth, spitting out, and seeing blood. And that we need to educate the public that
Yeah.
you wash your hands and blood came
Yeah.
in, think you'd be
Exactly
panicking.
that. Exactly what I say to my
Straight
patients.
in.
Anywhere else in your body was bleeding, you wouldn't ignore it, would you?
There was
Yeah.
that old advert, wasn't there, with blood coming down your
Yes.
arm. You're not going to ignore this, so why would you?
I think people think it's normal. They think it's normal to have a filling. They think it's normal for us to do this, and it's not. We shouldn't be doing it. It's barbaric in a way. And we should be spending way more money and time on prevention and saying, look, this is what we can do, diet sheets, online training for people, following up. And actually, because we send them off for 6 months to a year, and then we expect them to have changed. And we know with behavior change, it's not going to happen. You're going to get them doing it for 6 to 8 weeks, and that's it. There's no accountability, there's no follow-up. So if we could try and do something there, that would be amazing. And then the other thing is also healthy food is hard to find and expensive. And you go to the supermarkets, they've been better at taking sort of snacks away from the tills and things like that, but it is still a massive battle. When we go in, it's so hard to find healthy stuff. You have to really focus and really want it, so much easier to get snack food and crap food.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the big battle. It's us against big food and us against big pharma, because the whole
And
sort of
fiscal
cycle.
policy,
Mm.
That's the
right?
big cycle, and that's hard. But we're in a very privileged position that we see our patients regularly. Most of them trust and like and respect us,
Yeah.
and we see most people when they're generally well.
That
So
is a really unique position to be in, isn't it?
yeah, and
So,
doing
for
things.
example, to test for diabetes
Yeah,
screen.
HbA1c test, so diabetes test, finger prick test, get result in 10 minutes. It costs £5. We could be doing that and screening patients and saying, look, you're on the edge of pre-diabetes, your family history of that, you've got gum issues with this, we need to do something about it before it
Yeah.
kills you. And having a referral pathway or some sort of protocol to send people off, because most practitioners don't have the time to go through it, or they don't understand the results. So we don't have that, but having a referral pathway and say, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to send you on pre-diabetes school, and this is what's going to happen. It's all online. You do this and you do it, and you get credits or you get discounts or you get something. You
Yeah.
get money off your medical history. Eventually, we're all going to be, there's going to be so many health biometrics, and our insurance is going to depend, like the black box. People don't complain about having a black box in their car now because they get their insurance down for kids. So the same thing there. We're going to have a black box for almost what you're eating. You're going to either have a continuous glucose monitor or something else. If you're hitting your targets, your insurance goes down. If you're
Mm.
eating crap, your insurance goes up.
Which makes so much sense, doesn't it? It's just, again, it's about holding people accountable, but it is
Yeah,
as healthcare providers, it's also understanding that psychology and how to influence people and how to actually get buy-in. That,
yeah. And it's
argument,
all these things because
it
now I'm
does
doing,
inspire one person but not the other. It's your job to kind of to
yeah.
understand and recognize which direction to take people in.
And we're
Yeah.
doing, I've been reading Lowe's book, and there's a paper by BJ Fogg, all about behavioral change, and he talks about little nudges. So actually getting somebody to floss, I know you don't like floss, so we're going to say interdental
Incidental
stitch.
cleaning.
Incidental cleaning, one tooth. That's all you have to do. Only have to do one, and you tie it with another habit, either when you brush your teeth or when you go to the bathroom or something. You're just going to do that. And then now suddenly you are a person that cleans between their teeth. Just have to do one, and you get into that habit. You're doing one, you think you feel good about yourself, and actually,
Yeah.
the tooth feels much better than all the others. Let's do another one tonight. Let's
Mm.
do that, and suddenly,
The
that's a
habit,
habit. So
but
it's
but
habit stacking.
stuck a habit. But this is also, I mean, I will often say that to patients because again, they're stuck in the stereotypical, I'm too tired at night, I've had a busy day with the kids, or I come home from work, or I do shift work. I mean, let's not forget our shift workers and
Yeah,
the information that they have in their bodies and higher risk of cancer as well as periodontitis and all the other stuff. But it's just about, okay, I hear you. I've made you feel understood. I realize it's not easy for you, but you know what? You don't have to do it with just when you wake up in the morning or the last thing at night. A bit like you said it with
yeah,
the water and the toothbrushing. You don't have to be stood in front of a mirror doing the whole shebang. You can just be in your car. You can be watching TV. You can just
yeah,
be poking a little brush around. Anything will do. And once you almost give them permission to realize they don't have to meet the stereotype of what other people are blanketing advice in other
yeah.
ways, it just sets them free, and then they work out what works for them.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think that's the thing. It's trying to have different tools for different people. So you've got your toolbox, you're going to try this, we're going to try this, but we're going to see you again and we're going to check on this. So you're not going to just get away. We're not going to, we're going to actually come back and see it. And I think that's why the hygienists and therapists really need to get on board with this, because they're seeing their patients much more regularly. Their hourly
I
rate
do.
is less, they can make it more affordable. And they love learning about nutrition and diet and behavior change and stuff, and it's great for them. Makes their day much more interesting.
One size fits all. But then one argument that I often come across hygienists and therapists will share with me is that, because I will always say, actually the best investment a patient could make is go and spend half an hour with the hygienist and then actually just teach them how to clean their teeth and offer them advice,
Yeah.
pick up a scaler. But they'll tell horror stories, like the patient has literally said, yeah, no, zip this up, enough talking and more of this, please. I mean,
Yeah.
rude that they will actually behave that
Yeah,
way. They have an expectation. Again, we're back to stereotyping.
Yeah.
They have an expectation that when they go to see the hygienist is going to do a cleaning, and I absolutely despise that word because that's not what it is. And they think that if you haven't done that, you haven't done a service to them.
Yeah.
But then it's
back to communication training.
communication. It's going through the medical
healthcare professionals.
their
But then
medical
it's
history.
up to us to warn that, to preempt that with the
Yeah.
patient, let them know that this is what's going to happen.
We need to shift the culture within the dental practice from the very beginning, from the person who owns the practice manager, the reception team, the admin team, the nurses, all the clinicians, all the healthcare providers, so that the entire message as you walk into that practice is we are here to look after you in the best possible way and aim for sustainability. We're not interested in you just having a quick fix. So it has to come from much higher up. And like you say, James, from the dean sitting in the dental, coming to the practices in the first.
But also sometimes you have to give them a quick fix because they've not come in, they're in pain, they've got something, and you're like, I'm going to give you a win. This is, but then with the so many tools we've got out there with the 3D scanners, the photographs, all the rest of it, one thing we're doing a lot more of now is the hygienist is taking swabs from the deepest pockets and putting it on a microscope and putting it on a phase contrast microscope in front of the big screen in front of them and seeing all the wigglies going around there. And they go, is that wow?
Really?
Yeah, it's brilliant motivator. You don't have to do anything else.
And every time you crave sugar, you're feeding your biofilm.
Well, so many more patients don't even want to see photos of their teeth, let alone the bacteria.
It's interesting. You just pick up different things for different people. Some people don't want to see anything. I've got some patients, I don't want to see x-rays or anything. I trust you 100%. You do it all and just tell me what I need to do. Okay, fine. But trying to find what their trigger points is. So it is, some of the guys, it's, I want to look good on the beach. Okay, to look good on the beach, you've got to do this and this is what we're going to help you with. So it's trying to find what their interest. And some people, it might be just bad breath. So the ones who just want to clean up is actually, it's going to look great. In 2 hours' time, you're going to have your bad breath again.
Yeah, exactly. Love that. So
wow.
Let's go deeper. I'm gonna just ask you one last question, then we want to move on back to nail it and learning. Because you kept talking about dentists, and actually there is even when we created the Breathe platform, we realized that it's very much now we're kind of changing that terminology to oral healthcare providers.
Yeah.
Because dentistry suggests dental and just teeth, and that's the whole point. The oral health.
Yeah.
That is our entryway into the rest of the body, right? So really specifying the importance of oral health.
Yes.
So I guess the question to you is, how much do you still use that, or try to correct people on that, or do you still stick to dental?
Well, when we first started, people thought, do you do dentistry there? Because it was optimal dental health, and we had a nutritionist, functional medicine, we're having myofunctional therapy, and they're going, do you do teeth? Do you do dentistry? So, and actually, so that was almost a sort of a barrier to it. So it was actually, no, we use the mouth as the entryway to fixing everything else in your body. So tell us what's going on in your body, and we're going to fix the mouth, and that will then have a knock-on effect to improve things. So if you're pre-diabetic, we're going to get the scores better. If you're having implant rejections, we can actually prevent that because we're going to look at HbA1c, we're going to look at vitamin D. Now there's more evidence on omega-3/6 ratios, so actually looking at that. So actually looking at somebody and saying, if we do these testing and you do what we're saying, we're going to guarantee your implants. So if you want us to do that, then they'll do that. And that makes them think a little bit more about it. So yes, we're still doing traditional dentistry and we still go through oral health, but people are much more interested in everything else around that and the training around that. And that's, no one person can do all of that. So for us, it's having connections with acupuncturists, physios, having connections with myofunctional therapists to teach people about breathing and airway and early intervention ortho, and looking at all the different other sort of specialties around that and alternative therapies, and having a dialogue with the GPs and saying, okay, these are sort of patients we're looking for. This is the connections. And then when I see somebody that I think is systemically unwell, saying, actually, we need to go back to your GP. When was the last time we had a full blood count? When's the last time we had this? We want to start looking at that in more detail and having that bi-directional connection. And the GPs are usually interested. Not all of them, but they're usually interested in the collaboration because it makes the patients get better and they don't want to go and treat them for mouth issues. And the conversation is so much better. So I think it's if people are more interested in that sort of thing, start looking at the webinars, start reading the books, start collaborating with other healthcare people around you. You'll get referrals in as well, and it just makes your day so much more interesting.
Yeah, I think it creates much more fulfillment in what you do, and remembering that actually you trained to become a health provider, and you
Yeah,
work in healthcare as opposed
yeah,
to
Yeah.
teeth care.
yeah, exactly. You trained in healthcare. There's a reason we take medical histories and we talk to our patients.
Yes,
I love that. So on health, let's
yes,
optimal. Optimal health includes emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial health. The lot, right? Which is optimal
yes,
performance. So the nail it system. We
yes,
asked you one last question. You shared your wonderful quote with us, and I love that. It was about sustained and continued learning and love and be love. So the nail it system, 6 pillars.
yeah.
Teaches
Got to
you
be integrity for me.
integrity.
It's got to be integrity. So
See, again, Bav, what can I say?
that's it. Is this the most popular one?
Well, only because I always say it's my favorite.
It's her favorite. Yeah.
Okay, oh, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
what's
No.
yours, Bab? Do I know?
You have to listen to the podcast.
All right, okay, fine. Good answer. Good answer. But I
Yeah,
think
you've got a bit of attitude, this one.
Attitude.
we need to the dentistry can have a bad reputation outside in the general world. There's about money grabbing and this, and the other, and we're not interested in the whole patient. And I think that's the biggest thing, first of all. If we can't be integrity, if we don't have the integrity at the beginning in our healthcare and what we offer and how we run our lives, how can we do everything else? And almost for dental practices, you go into dental practices, it's full of sugar and cakes and rubbish, and then you tell your patients that actually that's not good for you. And then you go back into the kitchen and you eat a load of rubbish, and then you wonder why your team are tired in the afternoon or they need a
Yeah.
caffeine hit. So
Yeah.
actually start looking at the whole thing and talk the talk and walk the walk.
So I'll tell you, we ran a course last year called the 3R event. It was resilience, revenue, results. Loaded dentists in the room, and we had a doctor who specializes in longevity. So we did this little experiment at tea break. Of course, you know, the hotel wouldn't provide savory snacks, so it was all biscuits and cakes and blah 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 blah. We put a little sign on there saying why and what each thing stood for. You know, like, you know, am I really hungry? Like, do I really
Yeah.
want this? Blah,
Am I
blah, blah.
bored? Yeah.
Not one biscuit. I mean, they were amazing tasting cookies. Not
How
one.
do you know?
Because when I went to visit them,
Took them home.
gave
She
me
took them
a
home.
cookie. I had to try it, but not one cookie left this
Yeah,
piled up plate. It's so
Really?
but that
brilliant.
one question of like, really? 'Cause it's
Wow, I like that.
terrible at
I like
conferences.
that.
But back to integrity. So that's the valuable being blueprint. So
Yes,
it's made up of several aspects. So your values, your authenticity, your leadership, your understanding versus judgment. I think that's very relevant with what you've been talking about today. We're not sitting in judgment on our patients and just giving them the time to be curious and therefore understand. Ambition, making sure that it's healthy, so we're not just constantly trying to grab onto stuff. Again, it's about being sustainable. Where am I? B, behaviors. We've talked about behavior change, so being conscious of your behavior, so that creates your habit change. Legacy is about living your legacy rather than leaving something behind. And then excitement, which you clearly have
yes. We love it. So
lots of passion. So
it's yeah.
I think you encompass a lot of those. You
Yeah.
I'd say it's the perfect one for James, isn't it? That?
perfect one for James. James, how can people find you? How can they reach out to you? How can they connect with you?
So yeah, connect me on LinkedIn, James Goolnik. I'm on Instagram because my 22-year-old says I've got to be on Instagram, so she's pushing me on Instagram.
Got to
So
be on Insta. You got to be on
got to be
Insta.
on Insta to put that out. And then you can also
So what's
old-fashioned
your
email
handle? What's your handle, James?
at James Goolnik. At James Goolnik. But otherwise, yeah, email me, james@optimaldental.co.uk. If you're interested in more holistic care and you want to spend some time and do some shadowing and work experience and come in, just send me a nice email and we'll try and get you in the clinic.
Yeah, and they can't bribe you with cookies, obviously. What could they bribe you with?
The one,
Sugar-free chewing
one
gum.
little thing with sugar, actually, I like licorice.
Oh, causes a bit of high blood pressure, but it's
That's the only thing. That's the
I
only
remember those
sweet
little
I like.
blackjacks, those little licorice
Yes,
blackjacks. Remember
that's
those?
the only thing. But or theatre tickets even better, but that's a little bit more expensive.
Oh, come on, if they're coming into
You get to
Shaddy,
spend the week. You get to spend the week with that.
Yeah,
Right?
expensive
A little
ticket.
blackjacks an hour.
Yeah,
far up
tickets to
high.
Donmar, definitely.
An absolute star. Thank you so much for your wisdom, your insight, and anyone watching this, your lovely infectious smile. Thank you for today.
Thank you very much, guys, and thank you for getting on. And have
Thanks
a
for
great
being.
evening.
Pleasure. So what did you think of that, Bav?
Do you know what? Like I say, integrity summed him up, really, isn't it? And you can tell the thing is because he already had a business, he didn't have to open this new clinic. So you can tell it was a proper passion project, and he's obviously made it exactly how he wants to. And I'm really glad he touched upon communication because I think that is one thing that is so undertaught, not only at dental school but any other course. Right? I always tell dentists, what is the point in going on these courses, spending thousands of pounds on these practical things of people doing composite bonding and but if your patients don't trust you or they don't like you, you're going to get so many complaints. So it's the importance of that communication and just spending time with patients and asking those questions. And as James quite rightly said, that a lot of patients turn and go, "I've never been asked this,"
Yeah.
and it triggers that emotional connection.
Yeah. So we've touched on trust, communication, and integrity. Absolutely brilliant. What a great way to end tonight. For now, we'll say goodbye with our tagline. Can you remember it this time, Bav?
I always remember it. I don't know why you test me. Lead better, live fully, laugh more.
Laugh more at Bavin. Amazing. Bye for now.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Nail It podcast. We would love it if you would leave us a 5-star review. And if you'd like to feature as one of our guests or you're ready to nail it, then check out our events, programs and educational courses by visiting nailitindentistry.com.